Get your cucumbers and aromatherapy oils. It's time for a spa day. All right, Spa comes to us once again, and with the update, car is a bit slower than it was last time we were able to do it. I was able to get a 222 518. I think the fast guys are going to be doing 219s, 220s in there someplace, so we're not quite there, but I'm pretty happy with it. It took me forever to kind of get up to speed. I still can't do a Rouge and Radeon flat out. I've got to lift a little bit for it. I think that the fastest guys can somehow. I'm not seeing how to do it. So anyhow, we'll go through our fastest lap. We'll show it to you here. We'll come back and talk through what we're thinking when we do it. Then I'll come back with some final thoughts. Here we go.
Sector 1 time's okay. That lap time was 2:22.52. Sector 3 time is quick.
All right, Porsche Cup, Spa, fixed setup, haven't touched brake bias, anything like that. Got ourselves a 22 518. Let's go through how we did that. This section's all flat out, so let's fast forward until our first braking point. It's like around the 100 marker. Before it, I use the end of this dirt patch here for lighter coloring in the pavement as my braking point. So we're gonna start getting on it a bit before that. We're gonna brake pretty heavy, but we gotta kind of roll on the brakes. If we just slam on the brakes in this car, it doesn't like it. So we're gonna downshift. We're gonna end up aiming for first into this corner here. Just keeping that brake pressure as we go. Just turn in, try and get close to this concrete on the right hand side. And then as we come out, we're gonna start putting a little bit of throttle in. Not the full whammy, but just a little bit, and then we're gonna unwind the wheel. And then as we unwind the wheel, we can put the rest of the throttle in. And then we are full throttle for a bit here. Now, Radiant Eau Rouge, before the update, I could take this flat out all day, every day, but I can't do that anymore. Like, I'm guessing that there are people who can. I can't do it. So we're just going to turn in. As the car warms up and the tires warm up, it's a little easier to do, but I still can't get the full throttle the whole way through. So we're going to lift a little bit here. Turn in. Get close to this curb on the right hand side. We've lifted just the tiniest bit, and like earlier in the lap or earlier in the stint we had to lift more, and we're gonna straighten out the wheel. We can touch this curb a little bit, but any more than that you're getting a 1x, probably a slowdown. You don't want to get that slowdown. That's why I'm being more careful with it than I would be. So if you get that slowdown, you need to start serving it pretty quick. So just be careful of like people coming behind you at speed when you're doing that too. But anyway, we're full throttle now until we get to a bit before this here red and white curbing on the left hand side. We're gonna want to hit the brakes, start getting on them there, and we get heavy on them right before it. And we're going to start downshifting. I think third is probably the way to go. Sometimes I do second. I can't remember what I did on this lap, but we're just holding that brake pressure as we come around, come through here. I'm going to brush up on this curb on the right hand side. A little extra rotation in second sometimes helps, but we did third here. We're going to put a little bit of throttle in. Lift. Get on this curb a little bit. Not too much though. Too much and we get the 1x. So we're just gonna get back on the throttle. Try and keep it over to the left here, because we wanna open up this next corner as much as possible. The next corner is much more important than the two that we just came through here. But we're full throttle, and then we're gonna lift for this one. So we lift. And then we get back on it, brush the curb on the right. And as the car settles, we can get all the way back to the rest of the throttle. Had to lift a little bit there, it was a little not settled quite yet. Then we can just keep going. Full throttle until our braking point's up here. We're gonna hit that brake decently hard, about halfway. And we're gonna go, I like to grab second through here. And then just kind of hug the inside. There's a few different ways to take this corner, that people take this corner. This is how I do. We're just gonna hold that little bit of brake pressure until we get the car all the way turned through here. And we're gonna start bringing some throttle in. But we can't get on it all the way. I was probably a little early on my throttle there. That's why I had to lift off and put back on. Then we're going to open up. And we want to get over to the right hand side here. So we're going to keep the turned in because we want to get all the way back over here for this next one, because there's a long straight afterwards. And I was kind of had mixed success between third and second here. I think third is the faster way, but sometimes second will get you that little extra rotation if you're going to bind. But braking, we're back on the throttle. And again, we want to wait until we straighten out the wheel before we get the full throttle, and then we're going to get full throttle through here. Our next braking point is these curbs on the right hand side here. I know previously if I came out up here, I could lock up pretty easy. There's not as much grip on this curbing as there is otherwise. I don't necessarily go on there, but just real light on the brakes. I'm trying to be real light on it, but we're going to go down to fourth. And just turn in slowly. hold that little bit of brake pressure. Help with the turn. Could have avoided hitting this curb on the inside here, but we're back on the throttle. And we lift a little bit, and then back, and we can be pretty full throttle here, unless it gets squirrely. I had some laps where it got squirrely on me, and I'd have to lift again through here, but just keep a little bit of wheel in it. So we make the rest of the turn. And we're just gonna keep going 5th gear and full throttle through here. And then my braking point is again this discoloration in the pavement. You can use a little bit further, like closer to you, like a car length or two, car length and a half before the sign here, but it's hard for me to judge that, so I use this here. But we don't want to be super heavy on the brakes. That's something I've done poorly in the past. Probably braked a little heavy here. I'm trying to work on not slamming on the brakes and peaking them super hard, but that's gonna take some time. Anyway, we're getting down to 3rd. Just holding a little bit of brake pressure as we come through here. Turn in. Hold that brake pressure until we get the car turned. And we're gonna start putting some throttle in. Not all the way. And this one we're gonna have to kind of truncate our throttling up on exit because we've got this next left-hander coming right away. So we're just gonna tap the brakes just a hair to help the car turn in. Sometimes I needed it, sometimes I didn't, but then we're gonna get back on the throttle. And as soon as we come around, we can get the full way on the throttle. And then we are full throttle through here. So we get over here. And this is kind of my judgment point for where I'm braking, but we need to get on it a little bit before there. Just hold a little bit of brake pressure as we're coming through here. And then once we get around, feel the weight shift, we're going to be back on the throttle. And we're going to come out all the way to the left-hand side. Not too far to the left, right about there. So as far as we can go. Then we're going to have to lift a little bit. We come in here. Now. And just hold that part throttle. And I bump up on this curb here, which I didn't want to do, but you know, we lived with it. Avoid that, so just don't turn quite as hard as I did, basically. But we have to wait for the car to settle because of that, and then we're back full throttle. We can come over on the right just a little bit here. And then it is full throttle for quite a while. And we want to get as far out over here as we can. And we're gonna have to lift for this this corner here. Sometimes when the tires are colder, needed to tap the brakes a little bit, but we're just dropping the throttle completely. Waiting until we kind of get through here, and then we're gonna put the throttle back in. And then we are full throttle. Then the next braking point I have is again where the discoloration in the pavement is. And we're gonna downshift pretty quick, trying to help with our braking, slowing the car down. Get down to 3rd about here. We're gonna pause a little bit in our downshifting. Then 2nd. 1st, letting off on the brakes a little bit here. Just keep that trail braking in. Get that wheel going and try and turn the car. A little bit of throttle coming back in. And we gotta go to the left. Lifting. And bring some throttle back in. Just a little bit because we've got so much wheel. Then let the wheel out. And we can bring the rest of the throttle in. And we gotta start shifting up pretty quick here. And there we go. throttle the rest of the way. We got ourselves a 222.518. All right, so yeah, as the car warms up, I can take Eau Rouge faster and faster, but I can't get the flat out, and maybe that's a setup thing. I'm just using the fixed set, so maybe I'll have to play around with some different sets for the open races, but for fixed, I'm just wow. Like if people can do it flat out, it's only about like 2/10, if that, maybe. Then my fastest times, like the times I did it and I got like the 1x or whatever. Like I was able to do it once or twice, but just risking getting that off track at the top of the hill there, to me it's not worth it, because like you get that once and you're losing like 3 seconds on that lap that you get the slowdown on, and whatever I've saved by going that, flat out over the course of a race, it's not worth it to me. But anyway, thumbs up if you like the video, thumbs down if you didn't. I get that too if you want to watch along live when we do our races this week. We're doing twitch.tv/thepiltdownman Tuesday, Thursday, and I don't know if this is the NEC weekend or not, but Saturday evenings for that, depending on what it is. And we'll see you next time. Bye.